There's a saying that says, if you can't see it, you can't be it. I saw it. Transparency can save people in a lot of different ways. I'm gonna say it, I'm gonna speak it if it's necessary. When I started saying the word gorgeous, it took a while, but it started manifesting from the inside. This is a special night. I'm just gonna give my best. I'm gonna give 100% to the audience, no matter what. Never thought I'd ever be able to say that in my lifetime. I'm super proud of myself because I did a lot of work to get here. I'm proud of my heart. I'm proud of my soul, my spirit, my work ethic, the people that I choose to be around me, the energy that I give to people. I'm super proud of how far I came because I come a long way.
Mary, we're sitting here at the United Palace Theater in New York ahead of your Apple Music Live performance, and this is going to be a really special performance because we get to celebrate you and your career all the way from your debut album, What's the 411, all the way up to your new album, Good Morning Gorgeous. How are you feeling?
I feel great. This is a special night. I'm just so humbled by the whole invitation to even be here tonight.
You know, we're happy to have you because over the past 30 years, you've had so many iconic performances. You've touched so many big stages. I'm wondering at this point, when you're looking back to some of your earliest shows for What's the 411 compared to a night like tonight, how do you feel every time you step on stage? Is it different from 30 years ago?
100% different from 30 years ago because I was nervous and scared and crazy 30 years ago. It's easier now.
Right.
It's way easier than, being young and, not knowing what to expect. Now you're just like, okay, whatever happens, happens. But I'm just going to give my best. I'm going to give 100%, to the audience, no matter what.
And that's the thing, you always give 100%. Even at this point in your career, you're hitting new milestones. Seeing you at the Super Bowl was incredible.
Thank you.
We saw the Mary that we've all come to know and love, raw and emotional performance. And as usual, being completely comfortable holding it down for the woman amongst the boys. How did you feel as you were stepping on that stage?
I don't even have the words to explain how full and how huge, of an accomplishment that was. I just felt so strong and I felt like grateful to have been asked. But I definitely felt like I earned that moment.
Absolutely.
I earned that moment. So when it was my turn, I just, what I do. I just couldn't wait to just be myself and do what I do in front of that audience. That was the world. That was a big deal. I was so grateful.
And again, this is something that your fans always expect from you. No matter where you are, you're always going to be that Mary. You're going to give us 100% of you. And thinking all the way back to recording What's the 411, I believe the first song you recorded for that project was You Remind Me. I think it started as part of the Strictly Business soundtrack.
Yeah.
That Mary at this point, do you think she would recognize the Mary sitting in front of me now or the Mary performing at the Super Bowl?
That Mary wouldn't even speak to this Mary. That Mary couldn't see this Mary at all. She couldn't hear this Mary at all. It would have been two different worlds completely.
So you must be really proud of yourself then to have, and not even just talking about your career, success aside, just as a person, because we've seen you go through a lot. Your fans have been through that with you. You must just be proud to be here and to have grown so much.
Yes, I am. I'm super proud of myself. And I've never thought I'd ever be able to say that in my lifetime. I'm super proud of myself because I did a lot of work to get here. And I'm not just, when I'm talking about, proud, I'm not proud of just all the material things. I'm proud of my heart. I'm proud of, my soul, my spirit, my work ethic, the people that I choose to be around me, the energy that I give to people. I'm super proud of how far I came, and I come a long way.
You have, and you could see that on the new album, on Good Morning Gorgeous. The energy is just radiant. You know, you're finally in that sunshine that we know that you wanted to be in. The video for Come See About Me, you look amazing.
Thank
It seems
you.
like you feel amazing. That confidence, can you take us back to recording What's the 411? What was it like recording You Remind Me? I think at that point, you were still living in the projects with your family, and it felt
Yeah.
like you were just really fighting to get out.
I was singing for my life. But the thing about singing, I love to sing. So I was free. I was always free when I was singing. And then when I was in that studio, I was nervous and I was free because it's like, oh shoot, this is really happening. This is professional. And I was just singing and free and happy at that moment to be somewhere other than the environment that I was in and dealing with all the things we were dealing with. And I wasn't thinking, oh, I'm about to, blow up. I was just singing because the song was beautiful. I loved the song. I always loved Patrice Rushen's version of You Remind Me. And I just couldn't wait to sing that somewhere. And I did on that record.
That was a pivotal moment in your career because that's when you were able to shift into album mode. How did that song change your life and the trajectory of your career?
I mean, it changed my life because it went on to the Strictly Business soundtrack for Uptown Records. And there's a lot of songs on that album. My song jumped off the album into the hands of all of the mix show DJs and radio DJs. And they were playing, I was living in the projects and they was playing this song every day, all day. And I was like, oh my God. This is bad. This is not good where I live at if you got a smash on the radio. So I was just trying to ignore the fact that I had a song out. But Puffy really pushed me to want to be it because when you come from where we come from, you're kind of scared to be it. You're kind of scared of success. And I was scared of everything. But if it wasn't for Puff, I probably wouldn't be here doing all of this today because he was pushing hard for us to be great, for Jodeci to be great, for Mary to be great, for all of us to be great.
And we're glad that he did that. I mean, growing up the way you did and speaking from personal experience, growing up poor in a city like New York, being raised by a single mother is an experience that shapes you. It makes you tough, but also really wears you down in some way. So I'm glad that you had those influences to help push you along. So once You Remind Me was taking off and now it was time to record the album, what were those studio sessions like for you?
So the studio sessions were in Queens with Mark and Corey Rooney, most of them, because, they produced Real Love and Changes I've Been Going Through. And Dave Hall did You Remind Me and My Love and Love No Limit. Dave Hall's a beast. It was just fun. It was just fun. Puffy was a lot of fun. He made all the sessions fun. He made it, although I was a real serious person, I had to laugh at him all the time. And he would push and he'd be like, I like that, I don't like that, try this, try that. And I was a knucklehead, so we bumped heads a lot. But it was all for the good because at the end of the day, we loved each other and we made some beautiful music together.
You absolutely did. And even songs like Real Love, which is an iconic song and it's upbeat and it's fun to listen to, but your producers have explained that. And again, this is one of the things that made people connect with your music so well, that those are really raw emotions in the studio as you were recording those songs. Do you remember the session for that song?
Yeah, that was in Queens as well. Queens at Mark and Corey Rooney studio. They produced Real Love. And I remember singing the whole song, but the part that I remember the most is the end when I went into, you see, I'm sorry. I went nuts because that's how I felt. Everybody was just like going crazy over what I did, what I was doing. But I wasn't like, yeah, I just was singing for my life, like for real.
And that's what still makes it so special 30 years later, and at that point, so women saw themselves in you in a way that they feel like they hadn't been represented before. And also just everything about you, the style, making R&B over hip hop beats. I think even on, the title track for What's the 411 is where we first meet your alter ego, right? Rapping?
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about, is it Brooklyn or was it just Brooke?
Brooklyn didn't even exist back then.
She didn't have a name yet.
I was just Mary J. Blige rapping. Grand Poobah and Puff and them thought it was a good idea, for me to do that. And we did that in the hood a lot. We wrote rhymes. We banged on the table. We did that, where we came from. So when it was time to do it for real, it was like everything I ever wanted to do was coming true, when it was time to make this album.
Your life changed obviously dramatically after that for both you and your family. Between What's a 411 and My Life, which of course, another incredible album and also like a difficult album for you at the time because you were going through so many things. What was that time period like for you, Mary, just the person?
Oh, it was a lot because the depression and the fear that I was dealing with was all coming to a big head because I was in front of the world now and I was scared and I was insecure and I didn't think anything of myself. When you get in front of people, you get in front of the world and you're already insecure and you're young, man, it's hell. It's hell. And you can't, I couldn't handle it. So I was just turning to everything I could to not see myself.
I can't imagine how difficult that must have been, but I also know that your music, like I mentioned before, touched so many women and helped so many women through really difficult times, like what you were going through yourself. It's interesting, although you've empowered women for so long, did it also feel nice to have your fans also be a support system for you in a way?
It was amazing because when I put the My Life album out, it was a cry for help. It was a letter. If you listen to every song on the My Life album, it's like, please love me, oh, don't leave me, oh, I want to be happy, I'm the only woman. And I was in a relationship too then that was not healthy either, but we're not going to go there. And it just was an album of misery for me. And 4 million people bought that album, which really helped me to see that I wasn't alone. And then when I meet when I meet all these fans, what my album, My Life meant to them, meant to me didn't mean that for them. A lot of them said this album helped me to get married. This album got me through college. Like I'm like, I was going through hell.
Wow.
So it has different meanings for everybody. And what's crazy about that and amazing is that your just transparency can save people in a lot of different ways.
You know what? You've had enough suffering in the past and you've been so, like you said, transparent with us about it, that again, that's what makes Good Morning Gorgeous so special. Tell me about recording the title track for this album.
Woo. Well, here we go. Well, I was going through another difficult time in my life, and I was in the middle of getting out of that difficult time, but I was in it still deep, and I was never enough. I couldn't please this person. There was nothing I could do. And I realized that when someone hates you more than you hate you, you got some real serious work to do. And I didn't know what to do. And one day I was watching T.D. Jakes, and he said, what you say about you is way more important and way more effective than what anybody else could say or think about you. And it just struck everything in my body. And I just started, during my prayer, waking up and saying, good morning, beautiful. Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, Mary. I love you. Good morning, talented. I just started saying those things, even if I didn't believe it. But I used the word gorgeous because I didn't believe that. And I was like, I need to say something that I never thought was possible. But I had to say that. And when I started saying that, it took a while, but it started manifesting from the inside. That's why I said I'm not talking my hair and makeup, and I do it in the morning when I look in the mirror in the morning when I go to the bathroom for the first time. And you look in the mirror and you like, good morning, gorgeous, with all the crust in your eye. And it registers in your heart and in your insides. And it's began to grow from the inside out. And that's why this is nice, but this is nicer.
Yep.
Because this carries all of this.
How do you feel about Good Morning Gorgeous? How does that project feel to you after everything you've been through, to still be putting out this incredible music, to be still out on tour, to be performing at the Super Bowl?
It feels like Mary. It feels like where I am, life is good, life is bad, life is fun, life is sexy, but it's all about how we deal with it and the perspective that we look at it from. I try to look at it from a positive place. We could fix it all if we could see it all.
Well, look, Mary, I'm really excited for your Apple Music Live performance. We're in this gorgeous venue. I know you said you haven't been here before, so I want to go check out another view so fans can see what they can look forward to at the performance. Okay, Mary, since you've never been to the United Palace Theater, I thought I would take it upon myself to give you a little tour. This is the only time you would be in the seats looking onto the stage. I'm really excited for the show, and I'm wondering, covering 30 years in one show, how do you approach building the set list for a performance like this?
Wow, well, I've been touring and doing shows for years now, so I know what the fans want to hear from each album. So, you know, classics are, you know, you can't lose with that. And of course they love Good Morning Gorgeous, and they love the album. But if you do not incorporate those classics, it will not be good. So, you know, you start from the beginning, you know, and the performance is definitely gonna be like a history lesson, because most of my songs are sample driven, and this is gonna be fun what I'm gonna do. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be crazy. You gotta incorporate the classics, give them some new, give them some old, give them a rest, pick it back up, and go home.
To check out more of my conversation with Mary J. Blige and her performing on Apple Music Live, look for the full interview and stream on Apple Music.
Good morning.